What's going on, y'all? What it is. So let's go ahead and slide on this topic. Now, there have been several updates as it pertains to Diddy and him being locked up. That's if he's locked up. I got some information that I'm going to convey to you guys a little bit later on what we talked about last night in our group chat. There were a couple of lawyers, and there was also a former federal correctional officer that used to work at MDC, where Diddy is supposed to be currently housed. So you guys need to stick around for that. But anyway, until we get to that, we have several things to cover. Now, what's interesting is the fact that a couple of days after Diddy got locked up, his long-term PR manager, who's the head of communications, Natalie Moore, she actually resigned and disconnected her phone, and her email address is no longer active. So that is very odd. I don't know if she's running from something. I wonder, did she help Diddy? Did she help facilitate those freak-offs? What role did she play? But anyway, guys, check out this clip and I'll be back.
Brand new Diddy news just came out. His PR guru of over 20 years quit. Her cell phone is no longer active, her email is no longer active, and she's the one who has worked with him for decades and was pivotal in changing his bad boy rapper image into this like entrepreneur, white party type of guy. And that's not all we're learning. There's also a new allegation that has come out. And this one is coming from a former reporter. She talks about how when she was 23 years old, she interviewed him, and then the after party was questionable. Definitely not safe for TikTok. We also now know that despite his defense team offering $50 million and saying he will have no cell phone access, his property will essentially become Fort Knox, the judge is saying no, absolutely no bail. He will be held here until trial. Which isn't that surprising given his history with witness intimidation and physical attacks. But here's something I learned about his defense attorney. Guess who else he represented? Keith Raniere. You know, from Nexium? While everybody has been drawing parallels between Diddy and Jeff Epp, they haven't been talking about that connection. Or the fact that apparently he's in the shoe inside that Brooklyn detention center. There's a lot that just got released today, so I'm breaking down all of it, including the new allegations over on the podcast. You can find it all here on all podcast platforms. And here's the exact episode.
All right, so you guys just heard that. And so not only do you have big time execs, record execs, might I add, all of a sudden resigning from their respective positions at their respective record companies, right? And this is coming at the heels of Diddy being indicted. So that is just very suspicious within itself. Now you have people that helped build Diddy's empire starting to fall by the wayside. And Natalie Moore was a very important piece with a brilliant mind that played an integral part in building Diddy's empire for him, helping him build his empire, should I say, right? And so this is my thing. If you want to turn off your phone and get rid of your email address, to me, that sounds like you're hiding something. Now, I don't know if Natalie is planning to flee the country. She's probably already gone, but I don't think it would be smart for her to go back to Australia, which is where she is from, because they do have an extradition process that can take place between them and the US if the feds want her bad enough for questioning. But anyway, I want to move along and talk about Diddy's mom, because a lot of people feel that Diddy's mom should be held accountable in some way. They're saying that she knows everything that has went down, or at least she's privy to some of the things that have went down. And I've told you guys from receipts that I've gotten from my plug that Janice Combs definitely was in the midst of some of those parties and things like that. But there was footage that Diddy actually recorded of him and his mom receiving an IV bag, better known as like an IV drip, when you get exhausted. You know, when you go to the doctor and they find out that you are exhausted and exerted, they give you one of those bags to try to replenish you, give you those electrolytes and things of that nature. And that is something that came out within the documents, that they would have these parties and the next day they would be so physically exerted to the point that Diddy would have those IV bags delivered so they can replenish and refuel. So check out this small little clip of him and his mom taking an IV drip.
Introduce you to my mom, called Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me.
Now, if you guys pay close attention, you can see like an iron pole, a skinny iron pole back there. And I guess that's where the IV bags are attached to. And you can see the tubes just hanging behind them. And of course, they were definitely ran from that particular standpoint to them, basically connected to them so they could get the electrolytes they need. And so it just brings the question back into focus, like, was she a part of this whole thing? And within this same video, I want you guys to pay close attention, because Diddy takes the camera and he tries to show his mother's shoes, but he gets a glimpse of her fingernails. Now, you know one thing that Diddy loved about all of his women, his preference was for them to wear white fingernail polish, and his mom is wearing white fingernail polish. Now, that's very weird to me, especially when you're discussing a mother and a son, and given the fact that that was one of Diddy's fetishes that he had for other women. Maybe he picked it up from her because they said that Janice was a pimp back in the day, allegedly. And so a lot of people don't care about Janice's old age. They feel like if she's done anything demonstrative or if she helped assist Diddy with his crimes, they feel like she should be held accountable along with Mary J. Blige. I want you guys to stay tuned. I'm working on some information in regards to Mary's involvement in potentially helping assist Diddy in committing SA crimes against other women. And I'm gonna say allegedly, but don't be surprised if Mary gets visited by the feds for questioning. I'm telling you right now. But anyway, guys, I want to move along and I want to talk about Sean. Now, you know Sean is the ex-Bad Boy artist. Basically, he ended up doing 9 years in prison because there was this famous nightclub, Pow Pow, you know, that went down and things of that nature. And a woman, an innocent woman by the name of Natanya Rubin, ended up being the recipient of the Pow Pow to the dome. Now, Sean ended up taking the blame for the incident and he ended up doing 9 years in prison. Now, shout out to Sean because he's changed his life now and he's actually the leader of the opposition in the Belize House of Representatives, and he's the leader of the Belize United Democratic Party. So shout out to him for changing his life. But Ms. Rubin said that it was not Sean that committed that egregious act. She said that she saw Diddy do it to her. And so Sean spoke out yesterday and he finally admitted that Diddy ruined his life. And to me, Sean is basically admitting that he had nothing to do with what transpired in that club, and he basically was set up and did 9 years for nothing in prison. So I want you guys to check out this audio clip of what Sean had to say, and then I'll be back.
When I was a 18-year-old kid, you know, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed, he pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave, I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, I saw you spent a birthday with him once.
I
saw a birthday cake.
I went again to do a charity event for impoverished youth in London. So let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life and who I forgave and who I moved on, and for the better interest of Belize, because he was in a position at that time to give scholarships and to maybe invest. I would not deny attempting to bring the investment to Belize and to bring the contributions to education to Belize, but don't distort it as if, you know, he and I were bombale. This is someone that destroyed my life, but do I take any joy or any satisfaction with what he is going through? Absolutely not. I am different than maybe other people. No one needs to fail for me to succeed. No one needs to suffer for me.
In your at the height of your professional relationship, or thereafter through the reconciliation, when he was an instrumental part of promoting you through Revolt Media, were you aware of these freak-off events, and were you aware of them? Did you have any participation in them?
Oh my goodness, Jules Vasquez. Jules Vasquez.
Were you aware of them?
Jules Vasquez.
Were you aware of the freak-offs?
So I had nothing to do with Sean Combs' personal life, no interaction, that level. Everything was strictly on a professional level.
All right, so we just heard Sean's explanation, right? And so the question I pose to you guys, if he did the crime, why wouldn't he be man enough to do the time without coming out saying that somebody else is responsible for putting his life on hold if he know he didn't do it at all? Because he knows that he took the fall for Diddy. And Sean is not disclosing all of the private information. I think that there was a deal done. I think that Diddy coerced him, say, hey man, you do this time, I'll do this for you when you get out and things like that. But in the process, there's no amount of money that can buy back your time. And honestly, y'all, when I look at this in its totality, I don't even think that Shine took the rap for this. I think he was ultimately framed. I really do. Given the nature of Diddy's behavior, I think that this man was framed. And like I said, you can't buy your time back. Yes, he's done some deals with Diddy after he got out of prison and things of that nature, but he said it was strictly business. And why wouldn't you go and recoup something that you can get for him when you spend all that time in prison? I don't know if I would have had any type of relationship with Diddy if I was him, but he said it was for the greater good to bring some type of education to Belize. And so I can understand that somewhat. But anyway, let's move along and let's talk about the situation with Kim Porter. Now, there is a book that's supposed to hit Amazon. Now, I haven't seen it yet. If you guys have seen it, correct me in the comments. I haven't seen it. I went looking for it, and there were some excerpts that has supposedly leaked. Now, the Daily Mail is the major news source publication that is responsible for obtaining these receipts. Now, this alleged book was published by a guy by the name of Chris Todd. Now, he claimed that Kim Porter gave it to friends on a thumb drive with all of her writings. Now, Chris, this is interesting. Chris published these alleged writings under the pseudonym Jamal T. Millwood. Now, why is that name important? Jamal T. Millwood? Well, when Pac was taken out of here, unfortunately, right? They said that he didn't actually pass away. You know, it's been rumored for years that Pac is still alive. Well, they said he moved to South America and he was living under the name Jamal Millwood, okay? So that's why this is so significant here. Now, this is the thing about the situation. When you read the publication and some of the excerpts from the book, allegedly, they are saying a lot of the things that you've already heard from me and others. Now, it talks about the fact that Kim Porter admitted that her and Diddy had an open relationship and that she was intimate with Tupac several times. You guys who follow me tight, you know I told you that a long time ago. It also talks about the fact that Diddy got upset with her one night and put pause on her because she refused to use a fake cucumber, and I'm paraphrasing here, on him. And then she told him to go and be intimate with one of the guys there that was a well-known music exec, and he got mad and put pause on her for basically calling him out on it because she knew that it was going down between the two of them. It also talks about a tape that Kim recovered from one of Diddy's vaults that had an 18-year-old pop star on it along with two other well-known rappers. Now, we've discussed that as well on this channel, and many other people from other channels have talked about it in its entirety too. It's also been said that this guy Chris has pictures or video of Kim Porter applying makeup to cover up the scars on her face where Diddy put pause on her. And it's also been well known that a videotape of this 18-year-old pop star was shopped around in Hollywood. We want to say it's going to be Justin Bieber, allegedly. Now, allegedly, it's also been said that Kim Porter wrote that she was upset because she had to be intimate with certain rappers that she didn't like, and that she also had to be intimate with certain women within the industry that she didn't like. And it really rubbed her the wrong way and made her skin crawl. And so, like I said, we've covered a lot of this information on this channel. Some of the individuals that are allegedly on those tapes stem from Justin Bieber, Usher, Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, Ja Rule, and the list goes on and on and on. Those are just the prominent names that have been thrown out there. So yeah, this is hella interesting. I'm waiting to see if it's gonna hit Amazon because I am gonna give it a look. So I guess it's just a waiting game now. But anyway, I wanna move along because I told you guys previously that Diddy is in the system at MDC. And so I wanna play you this clip before I read you what was texted to me from my plug from a conversation that we had with some formidable people that work in the legal field on last night. All right, so check out this clip and I'll be right back.
Diddy's in the system. Diddy's in the system. Diddy's in the system. Okay, let me start. So they didn't register under Love. I thought his name was Love now, but they registered his name under Sean John Combs. And his register number is 3752-054, age 54, black, male, release date unknown. Unknown. And and he's in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Now, I think that's where he's going to stay until the trial begins. His attorney is trying to get a swift trial. He's also trying to get him out still. Now, Tiffany Red made a statement last night. Today, I feel a little safer knowing that Sean Combs is behind bars. I am grateful to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and Homeland Security for stepping in and showing Mr. Combs and the music industry, which enabled him, that they are not above the law. This past year has been incredibly stressful and terrifying at times, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to free myself from all of this dark experience. Now, Tiffany, when Cassie first came out, Tiffany did a interview on TV. It is in my playlist. You guys can go back. Tiffany also has her own lawsuit against Diddy. Mimi Foster's dating show has been cut short because of the relationship of Stevie J and Diddy. Sorry, girl. President and CEO of Warner Music Japan resigning. CEO of Sony Music Nashville resigning. Why are all of y'all leaving all of a sudden? And yes, Diddy had a 50-50 venture with Warner Music Group. I'm not sure about Sony, but definitely Warner Music Group. And more black men are just willfully ignorant like Faison Love. When has being nasty been a federal crime? When you coerce people, threaten people, blackmail people, ugh people, assault people, kidnap people, that's when it becomes a crime, stupid.
Alright, so you guys just heard all of that, and so it does appear that Diddy is in the system, but yet we don't have a mugshot, right? Doesn't mean that he doesn't have a mugshot, they just haven't released it yet, right? And so basically, I told you guys I had a conversation last night. I've been kicking it with a couple of lawyers on Zoom and a couple of my friends and things of that nature in my plug out there in Los Angeles. And one of the lawyers was able to get somebody that used to work at the facility that Diddy is supposed to be housed in at this present time. And basically he said no one there, none of his colleagues have seen Diddy. In fact, it says here, before I read this, let me say that this is all alleged, right? This is all alleged information. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just bringing the information to you guys. And it says here, my man, I don't think that you should mention the federal correctional officer's name that made those accusations last night. That's my plug talking to me about if I should mention his name today or not, which I'm not. He said if blank were to hit the fan, he can say his words were misinterpreted and try to come back after you and attempt to sue you for defamation, unless you recorded it and you have the receipt. But we all got your back either way, because he said his former colleagues that work at MDC have said that they haven't seen Diddy. They confirmed he is in the system, but they haven't laid eyes on him. He said that they feel that he is in witness protection and not in protective custody, meaning Diddy may not even be there in the physical form. It also helps that a couple of lawyers have said the same thing, but I wouldn't say his name, man. Blank said she was gonna call you too about that. It is weird though that a mugshot hasn't been provided, nor is there video of him being arrested on Monday night. All right, so you guys just heard all of that. And so just to add some more context to this information, basically there are other lawyers that are saying the same thing, that they believe that Diddy is in witness protection and not in protective custody. And a lot of things they couldn't get into it because the legalities of the whole situation, but they're saying that something is off about this whole arrest and things of that nature. Now, Diddy could very well be there in my estimation. Doesn't mean that every officer has to see Diddy. He could have been appointed certain officers to deal with him directly, and those officers were designated to just deal with Diddy. But at the end of the day, if they're working at a facility, I'm pretty sure that they're talking amongst each other. And if he's there, he should be there, right? It should be confirmed. But anyway, guys, I want to hear from you all. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything that was discussed within this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I get with you guys later. Peace.